right, Sports Talker Nation, welcome back once again. It's your host, the G-Man, as we continue with our 2016 NFL Draft review on a team-by-team basis. Today we're going to talk about those Jets, Jets. I'm not a Jets fan, but local enough, and actually feel bad for the Jets. They've been through a lot, and they lose all the time. Plus, they had to live through the misery that was both Sexy Rexy Ryan and the Tim Tebow era. Not to mention that they had the Sanchez before he came over to the Eagles, which, other than a defense carrying him to an AFC Championship game a couple times, he was woefully overperformed or underperformed his fifth overall draft selection. But let's see how the Jets did this year. To start off with, they took Darren Lee, an outside linebacker for Ohio State. Now, I'm on record as saying I think that the other linebacker from Ohio State actually had a better chance at being a better pro. But Lee was well thought of. He may wind up being a safety. He is fast. He's quick. He's not real big, so he's going to either be a weak side linebacker or they're going to move him to safety. I don't think he's a pass rusher, and I don't think the Jets will use him as such. I think their defensive line is incredibly good, so he definitely plays the outside linebacker spot in pass situations, or he moves to safety altogether. Interesting second-round pick. And I'm not a Christian Hackenberg fan, but I understand taking a risk with him there. It's clear New York doesn't think very much of Bryce Petty, and they certainly don't think much of Geno Smith. They stayed put, and they picked up Christian Hackenberg. Cannon arm, all the measurables, but he looked shell-shocked as hell. Now, granted, he got his ass kicked in college, and his coach was an absolute stooge and didn't do much to protect him. But you always worry about a guy who lets the rush affect him, and I think Hackenberg did that. Can he be reformed? Sure he can. Will he be? Nobody knows. So I think 51 was a little early for him, but I understand them going up for it. Third round, solid selection in Jordan Jenkins. I thought he would go earlier. I think he was better than Floyd at Georgia. I think he is more multi-purpose. I think he can get after the passer, but I think he can be your weak or strong side linebacker in a 4-3. I think he can do it all. I really love him as a player. Justin Burris in the fourth round as a cornerback. Hit or miss. I don't have too much love for him. I did see him play on a couple of different occasions. He never stood out. They did throw at him enough that he could have made a play. He never really did. Brandon Shell, on name only, I guess you take a chance on a guy like this offensive tackle. For our younger audiences, he's the grandson of Art Shell. Art Shell was a big, mean bastard for those late 70s, early 80s Raiders, and he was an absolute beast. If this kid's half that player, he's certainly worth a third-round pick, let alone a fifth-round pick. So I guess you take that shot. They did take a punter in the seventh round. I don't want to kill anybody for taking a punter that late, but it's just such a throwaway pick. Pick him up after the draft. I mean, I'm not sure Lack Edwards is drawing so much interest. You're going to have to give him a draft pick and sign him for a little bit of money. Sharon Peak is another wide receiver. I don't know anything about Sharon Peak. Overall, again, I think they had a good draft. I'll give it a B draft. I think Jenkins has a chance to be a hell of a player for them. Lee went a little early for me, but I understand it. I would say the reach is probably Hackenberg, but it's not a major reach. I really like Todd Bowles. I like what he does, and I think they have a chance to be successful with him. They really need Fitzpatrick to come back and be their quarterback, because either way, Hackenberg is certainly not ready to do that this year, and I don't think they want to turn the reins over to Geno Smith, because that has 6-10 written all over it. But with your 2016 team-by-team review of the New York Jets, I'm your host, the G-Man, and I am out.